Hey guys, happy Wednesday. I hope you're all keeping well. I wasn't gonna film a video today because I'm not really feeling it. It has not stopped raining all throughout the night and all this morning. Instead of going outside for my morning walk, I went on the treadmill, which just hits differently. I mean, it was okay because I took like 30 BuzzFeed quizzes and I didn't have to worry about tripping over the pavement, and I got to watch some YouTube videos, but it just wasn't the same, and I'm in a little bit of a mood funk. So like I said, I wasn't gonna make a video, but I feel like I need to just talk about everything that's going on in my mind because my mind is racing right now. Who cares? I got no makeup on. I just look like trash right now. Maybe if I speak about what's currently going on in my head, it will make me feel a little bit better. So it's purely selfish reasons here. But not only that, maybe some of you can resonate, offer some advice or experience. I don't know. I just wanted to speak about some of the health issues that I'm currently experiencing. I am someone that is on the go all the time. It's not always the best way to live your life because I tend to neglect the important things, and I'm not very good at taking care of myself. Not in the sense like I don't shower and stuff like that. Yes, I do. But I'm not very good at honoring when maybe I need to take some time to reflect or pause or change things, I think. As I get older, I am approaching 25. I'll be 25 in just over a month. My health seems to be getting worse, and that's a really hard thing to admit to because everything I go through is a result of my own choices. All of the health issues I have are because of actions that I have taken, and sometimes that can be a really bitter pill to swallow, and I think a lot of that does come down to my own self-worth issues. I have allowed myself to suffer because I don't think very much of myself. If you've been following me for any amount of time, you may have heard me speak about a few of these things before. I will just give a really short backstory to my life in terms of health. At 8 years old, I was diagnosed with depression and an eating disorder, namely anorexia, but that term didn't really exist back then. We're talking like 2003, 2004 here. Put on antidepressants, sent to a really dumb dietitian, didn't really gain much weight, life went on, etc, etc. Then when I was about 11 or 12, I wasn't on the antidepressants anymore. I relapsed pretty badly into anorexia and orthorexia, although orthorexia didn't actually exist as a concept in this time. This was around 2007. I was hospitalized. I was extremely ill. I was about 20 kilos. I had hypothermia. My heart was about to give out. I was a very sick girl. I was in hospital for a month, and then I was released from hospital. I didn't have any further counseling, any further help, because I was so young. I wasn't actually old enough to be admitted into the eating disorder specialist center. I really hope this has changed now and they don't have an age limit anymore. Where I was in South Australia, I had to be 16 in order to go to the special hospital that had the treatment center. I was 12, so I had to just go to the generic women's and children's hospital and sit in a bed for a month, not get any further help. Then I sort of went about with my life. I don't believe I ever really ate enough, and I stayed quite underweight for a long time, not because I was actively restricting, but because I didn't know how to eat. I didn't know how to look after myself. No one had taught me. I was doing it all on my own. Then when I was 16, I relapsed again into anorexia, and that's when I was also diagnosed with a generalized anxiety disorder. I started to have anxiety attacks, panic attacks. I sort of went through high school. Things went okay for a little bit. I got my first period, which was exciting at 17. Then that didn't happen again for another 3 or 4 years. My body weight again stayed quite low. I think the heaviest I got, I'm sorry if numbers trigger you, maybe skip past this, but again, this is very individual to me. Please don't compare yourself. Also, I'm a very small human. The heaviest my weight's ever been was 46 kilos, and that was like 7 years ago now, I think. Around in 2013, like this time when I was around 46 kilos, I got into fitness because like it was the heaviest I'd ever been in my life. Felt quite uncomfortable in my body because I had years of being underweight. I had no muscle mass, like none. I probably couldn't even overhead press a 2-kilo dumbbell if I tried to. So I started my fitness journey, really loved that. And then throughout the years, I would say that I don't actively restrict my intake. So I haven't had an eating disorder relapse in many years, probably since I was about 19, I'd say. I've been in and out of psychologists and things a lot over the past 5 or 6 years. I actually believe I don't respond to talking therapy, and now people, you can rebut me if you want. It just doesn't do anything it just doesn't work. Like, I don't know. That's a whole different tangent for a different day. Otherwise, I'll be speaking about this for like a million years. I've seen countless professionals and only end up being really disheartened by the experience. I think I get so much more benefit out of speaking with people that are close to me and people that know my individual story, because I go to these professionals and they don't take the time to get to know me as a person or my story or my background. They just kind of treat me like I'm another textbook case, and I don't like that and I don't believe in that. About 2 years ago when I was living in the UK, my stomach really started to become an issue. I have always had stomach issues, and funnily enough, when I was 8 years old, I didn't know that I had depression or an eating disorder, so I didn't know how to verbalize these things. I would just get stomach aches all the time, so I didn't want to eat, and now I know that, you know, because of the brain and the gut connection, that would have all been linked together. So before I ever went to a GP or a counselor or anything, my parents took me to a gastroenterologist to get my stomach looked at. I know that from a young age, I've always had a big stomach link to everything that's going on. But then a few years ago, things started to get a bit worse and I found myself in pain a lot of the time. I would need to go to the toilet quite a lot. There would be times when this would be really bad for like weeks and then it would go away for a few weeks. I started to notice certain foods would trigger it, so I had to cut things out of my diet like eggs. Eggs haven't sat right with me for years and years, so I just think maybe I have an intolerance to them. Onion, garlic, beans, lentils. I can't have a lot of soy things like tofu, tempeh. I can have a bit of soy sauce, that's fine. I will notice that if I have too many high-fat foods like oils, nut butters, nuts, tends to make me go a bit funny. I mean, you're never going to take my peanut butter or dark chocolate away from me. I just deal with the pain after that, but everything else a bit iffy. I would just find that I would go in and out of these episodes of just needing to go to the toilet a lot, and I would say that that's gotten really bad over the past 6 or 7 months, to the point where it has been quite debilitating at times and it has a huge toll on my mental health, especially when I'm at work. I can't just go to the toilet for like half an hour and then come back and then maybe have to go again. Like, I don't want to get too graphic here, but not only that, I lose a lot of water weight, and so I go back to work and I don't feel good. I don't feel good at all. Like, I'm worked up emotionally and mentally. My body feels empty and drained. I also found that I don't think my body was absorbing nutrients as much, so I just felt horrible all the time. My iron levels have been low for about a year now, but that's a whole nother issue. I did end up supplementing with iron. My iron still wasn't getting absorbed and was still low, but then I had to come off the strong iron supplementation I was on because it was making my stomach issues worse. So there was all this like interconnection link. So my iron levels are probably low right now, but I can't take iron supplements. I am eating red meat a few times a week, but my body doesn't digest red meat very well at all. And I usually have indigestion and bloating and a bit of constipation the next day. It's very frustrating. And I did see a gastroenterologist in Brisbane the other month. We got an x-ray done. Didn't really get much information from that. He said I'm like a bit backed up, which makes no sense because if you knew my main symptoms, it would indicate that I'm definitely not backed up. Don't know what's to go with that. He wanted me to get a stool sample and a blood test, but then all this corona stuff happened and yeah, look, that's just gonna take a backseat for now. I had all this stomach issues stuff to deal with, and then I got a bone density scan done in January or February and I found out I had osteopenia, which I was diagnosed with when I was younger, but then I managed to reverse it, which is fantastic, but it has come back again. Osteopenia is the thing you get before osteoporosis. It is the reversible form of osteoporosis essentially. It's when your bone mineral density is lower than average. Basically, I got the bones of an old lady right now, which is kind of tough to deal with, and I have noticed my height go down by a few centimeters in the past few years, and I think that could be related. I don't know, maybe it was just the doctors measuring me dodgily, I don't know, but it doesn't seem like a coincidence that I have actually shrunk. The advice from the doctor was to lift weights, which I still find hilarious because obviously I do that a lot, take vitamin D supplements, which I've been doing for years, and gain body weight. The last thing on top of all of this, so if you're keeping track, here we are. Eating disorder, we're gonna leave that out of the equation for now because like I said, I'm not actively restricting, I don't have fear foods, I don't like all that fun stuff. Leave that out of the equation, we got bigger fish to fry here. There's anxiety, there's depression. Oh, I was also diagnosed with PTSD last year because of my emotionally traumatic childhood of not getting adequate treatment for all of these issues. So there's that. Osteopenia, irritable bowel syndrome. We now are up to hypothalamic amenorrhea. So amenorrhea, I don't really know how you say it. Basically, I had my first period when I was 17. It disappeared. Then it came back again when I was 21 or 22. I think once or twice, and then it disappeared. When I was 23, living in the UK, I got 3 in a row. And I was like, this is a miracle. This is a miracle sent from God. Finally, I'm 23 years old. My body is functioning like a normal human being. I felt healthy. I felt like my body trusted me. I may also add here that I think I was at the exact same weight then as I am now. It's not even like it disappeared because I lost weight or anything like that. Like, no, my training was the same, my eating was probably the same, all of the variables, you know. So I had 3, and then my last one was start of December 2018, and since then, nothing. And like I said, I do live a very busy life, and so it's very easy for me to just put all this on the back burner and think I'll deal with it later. I don't know if I want kids, it doesn't really matter, but at the end of the day, it does matter. I want my body to trust me, especially after everything I've put it through over the past few years. I really want it to trust me, and I just really want to feel healthy more than anything. I feel like I don't know what to do. I've been doing so much research on it. I have been for years, and I feel like the only answers I'm getting are to stop exercising, to bump up my calories to 2,500, and to gain weight. But I don't want to accept that, and maybe I'm the fool here. I don't know. And so it's this big toss up between, do I prioritize aesthetics because I like the way I look right now, I like my body as it is right now, I love training, that's my mental release, or do I prioritize my health? And I know that to you watching this, it would seem really stupid, like, Amy, obviously prioritize your health. Are you an idiot? But if you have been through this yourself, you'll know that it's not that easy. The decision is not that easy, otherwise I would have made it 5, 6, 7 years ago. Currently my weight sits, again, I'm sorry, I'm gonna talk numbers. I don't know if that's insensitive of me, but I'm going to. My weight currently sits at around 43 kilos, and for me, it feels like my happy weight. It's obviously not, okay? I know that this is my rational brain talking because I have osteopenia, I don't get periods, my iron is low, my stomach is fucked, my mental health is not in a good place. I get it. I get it. I am stubborn. I'm so stubborn, and if I don't want to change something, I just don't change it, and that is so the wrong way to be, and I don't want to be like this, but I feel quite helpless. I wish this was a video of me saying, okay, so now I'm going to change this, I'm going to change that, I'm gonna stop exercise, I'm gonna gain all this weight, I'm going to do this, but I'm not at that place yet, and I don't know how to be because I don't think I could ever mentally accept that. Like, I feel a bit bloated this morning, and that's enough to turn my head into a tailspin. And for me, it's not because I'm worried about the way I look or I have bad, like, self-image, because I can happily come on the internet with no makeup on, wearing like an old jumper, and I don't really care. So it's not about that. It's more so about my feelings of self-worth. I don't think much about myself. I don't feel that I'm really good at anything, but I am good at having control of myself, I guess. And if I give in to gaining weight and eating more and not exercising, makes me look like someone that isn't in control of themselves. I don't know, this is really just rambling. I don't want this to turn into like a really long chat about things. Like, if you're still at this point, honestly, I'm surprised. I just had to get it off my chest because I don't know what to do. And again, that seems like such a dumb thing to say, but I feel really lost. I honestly do. I worry that I'm making a big deal out of nothing. Yeah. Anyway, if any of you have gone through any of these troubles and maybe have some tips, advice, or even just a virtual hug, that would be more than enough right now. I know that this type of a video isn't for everyone, and I will be returning to just like my fun, entertaining videos soon, but that's just what's been on my mind since I woke up this morning. Honestly, it does feel better to get it out. I hope you're all doing well, as I say in every single video, but I think we need that reminder all the time at the moment. I'm gonna go have a drink of water and just maybe take a little breather. I think that sounds good right now. Sending you all my best wishes and virtual hugs. See ya.